Thanks, Michael, and thanks, Kyle. Lots of companies nowadays seem to get their start on Shark Tank with Mark Cuban. Our next presenter, while those guys are starting companies, he's out in Hollywood making movies and helping make movies and TV shows for every major studio out there. I first met our next presenter over in Hong Kong at the OpenStack Summit about 1.5 years ago. He was talking about how he was using Rackspace and OpenStack to fundamentally change Hollywood. Since then, he's done a lot more. With the challenge of taking Hollywood to the cloud, Digital Film Tree is working together with us on managed cloud, on DevOps, on data, on email. And here's a quick video about Digital Film Tree.
Digital Film Tree is a full-service post-production facility doing online, color, all forms of video finishing for Warner Brothers, Fox, ABC Studios, Disney, all the major studios, all the major networks. Digital Film Tree is really trying to move the media industry forward in terms of technology and really try to push it into a cloud-based post-production world. So really what we're trying to solve is accessibility. The ability to shoot a show wherever in the world that show calls for, but still accomplish finishing in an efficient manner. We've really attempted to get away from all forms of physical transportation, shipping drives, shipping media, shipping DVDs, and really put the entire process into the cloud. Digital Film Tree is doing a number of shows that shoot upwards of 20, 30 terabytes of video each and every day. And often there's 8 days of shooting on an hour-long drama. 22 episodes, that's 160 days of shooting or more. We're talking about petabytes of material that we're dealing with. All of that is being made more efficient by scalable cloud storage. We were originally email customers with Rackspace. I'm still proud to say that. And we enjoyed the level of support we got from Rackspace. As we grew our software business, it was a natural choice to host those applications and host that material with the Rackspace support we had come to trust. In 2012, we discovered OpenStack. It was natural for us to progress our relationship, progress our development in OpenStack, and obviously Rackspace being a large proponent of OpenStack, it was once again natural for us to partner and move forward. Rackspace has been not only a reason why we're growing and being successful, but I would say a partner at every stage of that growth.
So will you please help me welcome to the stage the CTO of Digital Film Tree, Guillaume Aubuchon.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's great to be here. Wow, it's really great to be here. It smells like innovation. It's awesome. So we at Digital Film Tree, a little bit about who we are, which you saw from the video. We're a full-service post-production facility in Los Angeles, California. Excuse the Southern California accent. We do editorial, we do color correction, we do visual effects, we do everything it takes to produce television and feature films, work for all the major studios, Warner Brothers, Fox, etc. And about 3 years ago, we really became a software company. And we needed to become a software company because workflows in our industry were getting so complicated, and they were so individualistic, that we needed to create software to accomplish those workflows. That was actually the most efficient way for us to proceed forward. And then after that, the evolution to cloud was a natural progression for us. So why did we choose Rackspace? Well, those of us in the entertainment industry are not nearly as smart as those of you in the technology industry. So we really needed help. We needed support. I didn't know how to do this, so I needed to reach out to a provider that was going to provide that level of support we needed to really launch into the next generation of filmmaking. OpenStack was a big part of that for us. I mean, we needed an open platform. We work in an industry where often many companies are working on the same project, so we all need to be in an even playing field. The age of proprietary in our industry is dying a slow, hard death. So OpenStack and then finding a provider like Rackspace who could provide interoperability with our private OpenStack cloud was key to us. Application proficiency. I work in a weird business. I know everybody thinks their industry is odd. Believe me, entertainment takes the cake. I needed somebody who understood who we were and how odd we were and how paranoid we are and all of that great stuff. So Rackspace has really provided that deep level of application proficiency, understanding what we need to do, understanding how we need to provide for our clients. And workflow proficiency. Like I said, it's an odd business, so I needed somebody who was going to be there with me in the trenches, day in and day out, 3 o'clock in the morning, on a pilot, getting something pushed out the door. So for us, that was really about fanatical support. And that's how we evolved from an email client, we were an Exchange hosting client first, all the way to running private and public scaled cloud with Rackspace. So these are some of the shows we host or have hosted on Rackspace infrastructure: Simpsons, NCIS Los Angeles, a whole smattering of television shows you know or love or have loved ones who love. So let's take a look at a little bit what we've done in the past year with Rackspace.
I must admit, I can't explain any of these thoughts racing through my brain. It's true. Baby, I'm howling for you.
So all of that content hosted in Rackspace storage, some of those visual effects rendered in Rackspace compute infrastructure, whole 9 yards. So what I want to show you right now is a little demo of the application that we use for review and approval, which somebody will magically open in the back. So this is our review and approval application. This allows for collaboration on all of our shows across mobile platforms, browsers, the whole 9 yards. It looks simplistic, but believe me, trying to convince producers that have been using a paper-based workflow for their entire lives to go to something like mobile has been very difficult. So we're going to go ahead and click on a video here. Yeah. And we're going to see a little bit of unaired Simpsons digital storyboard episodes for the show that just aired last week. Ooh, good. And we're going to just tap to hit play.
Oh, that's great news. So is that! What kind of a world is this?
What are you reading?
Entertainment section!
So, and then we're going to pause, and we're going to go ahead and draw on the video. I just taught this guy how to use this app in like 30 seconds today. So, and then we're going to go ahead and put a text note in too. Something like make his head bigger. Or whatever you want. Yeah. And we're going to save this annotation. So now everybody who has access to this asset across the entire Simpsons infrastructure, all the producers, all the directors, their team both in the United States and their teams in Asia who animate this, instantly get this note, instantly get all that collaboration material, and it's reduced their time in animating an episode of The Simpsons by 40%, because it was all done on paper before. So, you know, this is a sea change in our industry. And what we're really trying to do is push, and we can go back to my slides, is push to the era of mobile production in the entertainment industry in conjunction with Rackspace. So what does that mean? Well, that means, and I know I'm talking to a bunch of IT people, and they're going to say, well, no, duh, that's cloud. But believe me, this takes explanation in the entertainment industry. That means access everywhere. That means instant access. And because, as I said, I live in a highly paranoid industry who believes the cloud is only trying to pirate their material, that means logged access and highly secure access. So how do we use Rackspace? Well, you know, we store audio assets in the cloud. We put a lot of subjective metadata in the cloud, as I just showed you with Critique. We store video assets in the cloud, of course, and we store technical metadata in the cloud. And we're basically using every product that Rackspace offers. We're using cloud servers, we're using block storage, we're using Mailgun, we're using Object Rocket for MongoDB, for Redis. Basically, anything Object Rocket does, I buy, sight unseen, based on faith. Cloud files, CDN, all of our stuff is hosted on CDN to give optimum performance. And what else is on there? Oh, and monitoring too, for all that security. And really what this is all wrapped around for us is not only these great services, not only that fanatical support, but transparency. The story I like to tell is, I just went through a 4,000 question security review with HBO. 4,000 questions, many of them redundant, about how secure their assets are going to be. And if I was with any other provider other than Rackspace, I would have never gotten through that RFP, because it's not, like I said, it's not only the support, it's not only the great services, but it's transparency. Rackspace provided me documentation that I would have had to gone through 6 months of legal with any other provider to obtain and satiate HBO. So, you know, what's really driving the cloud for us? Well, you know, we don't just produce shows in Los Angeles. We're producing a show in Puerto Rico right now, several in Canada, a lot in the United States, all over the place. So we're seeing production growth across the board. There's been a huge uptick in production in the Americas, a smaller but substantial uptick in production in Europe, Asia, with a 64% growth in production of content. And this may surprise some of you, but Africa as well. Black Sails, Homeland are both shot in South Africa for the United States market. So this is really driving collaboration. This is driving the need for us to go to cloud, to share content wherever it's needed, when it's needed. So that really gets us to camera to cloud. Camera to cloud is not necessarily a new concept. It's been, to some extent, tried on reality television. But what we're talking about is doing camera to cloud with 4K, 5K, 6K content. So really pushing petabytes of information into the cloud, computing, 4K, 5K renders in the cloud. And what that means for us is, uploading camera originals from wherever it's shot into the cloud, putting that metadata and associating it and transcoding that video into a smaller proxy for editing in the cloud. Editorial VFX audio and video finishing remotely, so just like production is moving all over the world for us, finishing is moving all over the world. We're starting to use more and more freelancers. So All that needs to be accessible wherever they are. And ultimately, conform multiple versions and distribute. So not only is cloud a production methodology for us and a pre-production methodology for us, but it's also an archive methodology for us. And we're starting to see studios push one single version up to the cloud with a technology like IMF, and that distribute to all the various cloud vendors, Amazon, Netflix, iTunes, so forth and so on simultaneously. So on something like NCIS Los Angeles, we have camera and audio metadata ingested in the cloud. So the other benefit to us of centralization of this material in the cloud is not just a production benefit, it's not just an accessibility benefit, it's a benefit of having access to data that was either redundant or not in one central location. So the entertainment business is an odd mix of corporate culture and utter chaos. So productions are allowed to be autonomous. So the cloud is bringing some rigor into them, pushing data into a central location so the studio can have better oversight over that individual production. Checksum verification and proxy generation. We don't just deal with a file that goes up to the cloud. We deal with a file that goes up to the cloud that becomes a VFX that goes into editorial and is proxied. So we need a way to track all that information, and that's all done through centralization and metadata in the cloud for us. Automated association of metadata. So like I said, pulling analytics off of that metadata, associating it back to a piece of video, knowing what was shot, when was shot, where it was shot, and then obviously that's all feeding into second screen applications now for us. So it's, like I said, it's pushing into a distribution model for not only the video itself, but the metadata associated around it. And analysis of all that data. We're providing analysis back to the studios we work with a deeper level of introspection than they've ever had before, to really gain some control over those Wild Wild West productions. And with Rackspace's help, we've really done this through a combination of search engine optimization, so really taking some open source projects that are out there in the world that search engines use on a day in, day out basis, and combining that with production metadata to, like I said, provide a level of detail back to the studios about what's going on in their productions, what's going on in my TV show, why are we shooting so much? And this is just a small example of some analytics we pulled. So, unused material, material in the cut, and usable footage. I think a sort of unknown aspect of our business is that for every 44 minutes of content you see in an hour-long television show, they shoot usually 1,000 hours of content to get to that 44 minutes. So, we're starting to bring back some rigor, like I said, by centralizing this data back into a scaled cloud. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy your lunch.